So as you can see, the auto tuning on my TV here has already found 16 channels. That's about 13 channels more than I got just auto tuning with rabbit ears, so I'm definitely not complaining considering we just built that antenna out of a 2x4, some coat hangers, and chicken wire. So certainly a good investment. This is also a really good sign because right now I've got the antenna right here facing almost north, but right now it's going straight through one interior wall, the exterior wall of the house, and a whole bunch of trees in my front yard, and it's still managing to find 16 channels. Now, if you wanted to get the best possible signal, you would actually mount this thing outside, get rid of the little stand, mount it on a pole in the yard, try and get it up as high as you can, and try and get it to as close to line of sight as the antennas you're trying to hit as possible. Now obviously that's very, very tricky if you're in the city or there's many buildings around you, or you happen to be in the middle of a woods. But generally you want it to be as high as possible and as out in the open as possible. So to show you that it is indeed the antenna that's allowing me to get this picture here, I'm going to unscrew it and show you what happens. There, unplugged. Picture's gone. Plug her back in. The cable's being a bugger. There we go. And it's working. That is a successful antenna. So here's our finished product after having been spray painted white to make it blend in with the walls better. I think this is probably the best one that I've made out of about 5 of them that I've made now. It works like a charm, it looks pretty good, and it's definitely the straightest one that I've made. Everything is really nice and aligned on it, which I think helps to increase its efficiency. So there you go. That's what you can do with just a couple random parts and a couple bucks of extra money lying around if you want to be able to receive much stronger signals for your over-the-air television. And for those of you out here that don't understand their antenna stuff, like me before I started building these, there's no difference between an analog antenna and a digital antenna. So if you are in a store and you see advertising for high-definition antennas or digital antennas, there is no difference. An antenna is an antenna. All it knows is frequency. And the frequency that the antenna will pick up is determined by the length of the leads coming off of it. So this will work for old analog television stations, if there happen to be any in your area that are still transmitting, or new digital high-def stations. Either one, it doesn't really matter, as long as those stations are transmitting within the frequency range that the antenna will pick up. And that's really all it boils down to. So that's it for the building of this antenna, and I know I call it a UHF antenna, but it does kind of span UHF and a little bit of VHF range because we lengthened those dipoles, so we can't really call it UHF. But either way, properly termed, it is a 4-bay bow tie antenna. So I hope you all have enjoyed this video and learned a little something about antennas. This is a very fun project to build, partially because it brings you television, and partially because it's a lot of fun to be able to tell someone, yeah, I built that antenna. You don't have to describe it to them perfectly and tell them that it's like chicken wire and 2x4s and whatnot. Just make it sound all cool and complex. They'll think you're such an uber geek, it's not even funny. So anyone out there who's wondering where Jay went, some tornadoes actually almost took out his apartment complex, so he left to go check up on that. And I've ended up finishing the video on my own. So anyway, that's it for the antenna. I hope you guys enjoy it and have fun building.